I think our thing is there's no resources in Belize. We don't have counselors, we don't have occupational therapy, physical therapy, vision therapy, all the therapies that the US has. And so we have to find ways to bring that therapy to Belize and to LOL. A year ago, we went to a conference called CAFO, and it's basically just this huge conference that happens once a year, and everybody that comes together is doing some type of adoption, foster care, kinship care. So we went to that, and God connected us just with amazing organizations. And so they actually have been coming in and doing trainings in Belize for all of the children's homes. So we bring all of the staff together, and we, between them and us, we raise the funds to pay for them to come in, and then we do training. And we've had other organizations that have come in as well. So that's one of the cool things that we've been doing. Like before, people would get their license, they would have a children's home or orphanage, whichever way you call it. But Belize had no trainings for any of their staff. And so we started seeing, like, when you work with kids from trauma, like, you really need to know what you're doing, because it's very difficult. It's not easy to work with children that have been traumatized. And so we started recognizing we were getting trainings for LOL, but then no one else in the country had these trainings. So we would get kids that would be transferred from one children's home into LOL, and the kids would start telling us about, like, physical abuse and things that was happening within the home. And so we were like, okay, we need to get the training to other children's homes. So that's been a really neat opportunity that God has just opened up an amazing door, that we now have this relationship with every home. And we just have, like, multiple trainings that we're able to provide. And even for new kids that come in, we get new kids all the time. And so we'll have new kids that come in, and the kids that have been there, they're right there, showing them, like, oh no, we don't do it like that, or try this, or different things like that. So it's nice when the kids learn, then they get to pass that on, not only to the kids at LOL, but, like, even into their school. Like, when they go to school, you can tell there's a difference in our kids. As missionaries, we can feel very alone, and the work is hard. It's, for us in particular, I can't speak for other missionaries, but for us in particular, we live at LOL. We live, breathe, everything. We're 24/7 there. And so there is a lot to do. And I feel like JERVIS and I definitely hold the role of probably 4 full-time people each. And so we really need people that are skilled, that can come alongside of us to take some of that burden off, so we can get to that next level. I think we're, like, on this precipice of change to the next direction, because I feel like we have these foster homes, and JERVIS and I are in the day-to-day still of the foster homes, but we know that we need to transition ourselves into impacting more the government and the other homes. Figuring out that transition, how do you go from being into the day in and day out, then to still overseeing things, but being more like, now my day in, day out, I have a lot of meetings, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of government meetings where we're driving 3 hours to get to a government office. And so my days are a lot different than they were, say, 5 years ago, when all I did was in the office. So it's very humbling. We knew what God was saying when we moved down there, but I have been in circles now where I'm like, okay, God's placed me in front of judges. He's placed me in front of government officials that, like, I never thought that would be the circle of people. Like, I always thought it was just gonna be us and the kids, like the impact we would have on the kids. But then God has just opened up our impact into the government and into changing legislation and all of these things that I would have never pictured. For areas where the church could join us with prayer, I would say praying for laborers, right? We are big dreamers, and so we have a heart for everything. Like, oh, let's do this and let's do that, and we can also do this. But knowing which things we need to do and exact time that we need to do it, because sometimes it can just be busy work, and so then it can drain us in areas that we shouldn't be drained in. So just that we would have that discernment, and that we would just follow every step that God wants us to follow.